When I got to meteorologist, none of us knew what a meteorologist was, you see. But I was smart enough to know that it might mean a day out of school. So I said, oh, sir,
That's exactly what I want to do.
I always wanted to be a meteorologist.
So that was the unlikely start to what has been a long-running career, just about 54 years, in fact. During that time, he's worked on radio, television, all over the place, and he's worked with a number of people, including moi. This is 1993, when we both worked for another network, when we both worked in Halifax. So that gives me the opportunity to join so many people in wishing Peter Coade well and in looking back. I can't believe you kept that picture, Peter, from 1993.
It's a great one.
It's a great one. Oh, my life, my hairstyles of my life. So great to see you. Hey, congratulations this morning.
Well, thank you very much. And you mentioned almost 54 years. While our Greg Guy, our communications manager, he worked it out, and he said, Peter, do you know that today, September 30th, 2016, is exactly 54 years since I started? Exactly.
Here's what some people may not realize. That 54 years, I mean, back in 2013, that length of career landed you with the Guinness record as the longest career in the world as a weather broadcaster. I mean, that's extraordinary. How are you feeling about that? Nostalgic or looking back, or how are you feeling about it all?
Well, it's been a great run, and I've loved every minute of it. And I've worked with such great people, both in Toronto and as well in the Maritimes here. And I am a Maritimer from Halifax, Nova Scotia. But it's been a great run, and the odd thing about it, we set that record back in 2013, but every day that I've gone to work since then, it's a new record.
You're setting it so far of reach for anybody who's going to challenge in the future. This will stand for all time. So take me back, because you said this started with a high school career day. When you began working in this, though, in 1962, I guess, for the federal government first, tell me what kind of tools you had. I mean, the technology, the science must have changed so much. What did you have at the start?
Well, as a start, we had a pen and ink. We used to have to plot our own weather maps, and then after we plotted all the weather maps, we'd sit down and analyze the weather maps, and then from that analysis, we would attempt to make up a forecast for the future. Now that's all done for us by computer, so we have those maps that would take us a couple of hours to complete. They're now ready in a matter of less than an hour, and that's so we can spend more time on determining what the weather's going to be instead of trying to just plot the current weather.
Isn't that amazing? One thing that has not changed, though, is the importance of getting good weather information. Listen to me, Peter, because I know our friends out in Halifax have talked to a lot of people as part of a farewell item on your retirement. And one woman really encapsulates why she trusts you with the weather information. Have a listen to this with me.
Peter probably saved us $10,000 or $15,000, because we would have had to put people up for 3 or 4 days in Truro. Other forecasters kind of dithered about whether we're going to be hit by the storm or not, but Peter said he thought it was going to hit Nova Scotia.
So that's a woman talking about canceling a conference because of your forecast. And it made me think, you know, you can never have a bad day, or you can never be blasé, because people count on the weather. And in the Maritimes, oceans, people making their living, I mean, it's so vital, isn't it?
Well, it is, and what a lot of people don't understand, don't realize, and not they understand it, but they don't realize it, is we have basically 2 islands here in the Maritimes. Nova Scotia, for all intents and purposes, is an island. There's only one wind direction that could possibly not come in off the water, and that's only in one part of the province, you know, up around where it joins to New Brunswick. So, and that being surrounded by water has quite an effect on our weather. We just need a difference of a change in wind, and that throws out our sky forecast, the temperature forecast, and associated things. So, and I do really take my weather forecast personally. You know, I mean, I put a lot of work into them, and I really know that people do depend on them.
You stake your reputation on it every day. I want to go back to 2003. We'll show some viewers time in the history of Halifax. It was a real crisis. It remains the biggest property damage disaster the city's ever seen, $100 million. We're talking about Hurricane Juan. You would have been working there. Tell me about what that time was like for you. It had to be one of your biggest stories.
Well, it was, and I was so happy that I was able to forecast it on the Thursday. It struck on a Sunday evening, but we started talking about it on the Thursday. A lot of Maritimers, unfortunately, believe that all weather travels from west to east, so they're watching the Boston weather stations, the Bangor, Maine weather stations, and a lot of them were surprised because they didn't know that it was coming up directly from the south. The Americans had no interest in Hurricane Juan because it wasn't going to affect them. So to some Maritimers, it was a surprise, but to those that listened to me and my station at that time, from Thursday, we knew that it was coming, and it came just as advertised, you might say.
Yeah, take pride in that and in so many achievements. Peter, you can't see, I don't think, where I am, but I've brought in now on our set Chris Murphy, who does the weather with me now. Chris works at the Weather Network, and you've never met personally, have you?
No, but this is really an honor for me, Peter, and I have to ask you, because you've been doing this for so long, is there such a thing as a perfect forecast? Because I'm still searching for it.
Come on, give him some advice, Peter.
Wouldn't you love to be a forecaster in Phoenix, Chris?
Yes, that's it.
I have a question, because I've seen people interact with you, Chris, and I saw people with you, Peter, over the years, and the other weather meteorologists with whom I've worked. Every time people come up, how's the weather, Peter? How's the weather? How many times a day do people say that to you, Peter?
They'll ask that question, and the second part of the question is, I bet you've heard that one before. You know, but you never tire of it either.
Really? You don't get tired of it? Come
No,
on.
not at all. No.
You don't? Because, what do you
Yes.
think of it? What else happens to you, Chris?
Well, I find that when I'm right, no one remembers, and when I'm wrong, no one forgets. That's a big one.
Fact. That's a fact.
There you go.
Yes.
Well, I want to bring in Chris so he can pay tribute to you as a fellow of in the world of weather. We are
Yes.
weather people in Canada, and
Yes.
Peter, you've been telling that story so wonderfully for 54 years exactly. Best wishes for your retirement, good health, and thanks for the time this morning.
Thank you, and thank you for giving me this opportunity, and nice to meet you, Chris.
Nice to see you again,
Yes.
Peter. All the best.